Okay, good morning. So, hopefully the mic is working. I was watching some of the Silong Tao forums, so I want to go through a few things that we should all know. When you do the lan saos, fingertips and elbows on the same line. You don't want your hands here or here. Fingertip and elbow, not touching. When you strike out and you come back on the opposite side, the same thing. So your fingertip and elbow should be one line. You don't want the fingers protruding or not level with the elbow for the lan saos. So there's two ways to do this from a technique from the lan sao. I can do this and do side palms, or I can go down and sweep up. If you do the fox sao sweeping up, you want to have that shape. So the arm should be bent, not out like that, not flat. It has to have a bend in it. Hope you can get a good angle of this. See? It's rounded. Now see, my elbow's not touching my hand. When I do this, it is. So by having that lift, you need that lift so that when you step forward from the bear hug and you strike and you circle around, you lift up underneath the person's armpit. See that? So your arm should be rounded like that, not locked out and not with the fingers pointing up like that. I want to have more lift, so it's rounded. Both pak saos, the toy pak and the side pak, they don't go 1, 2. I think I explained that before. Even from this pak sao, it's not 1 and go to the side. Watch this cane. It's strike forward. See? I stuck to the cane. Whether I do this pak or the forward pak, I strike the person's limb, so I occupy the path of line of attack, and I use my forearm to stay on the line of attack. I don't do this, go here, and then strike. It's not this, and strike. I'm going to stay on the cane. Watch, I touch the cane and slide along the cane. So if you can use this line on the floor, if you can see it, I hope you can. When I pak, my forearm occupies that path and I strike forward. So it's 1, 2. It's not 1, 2, 3. Some of you are going way back here. I'm exaggerating. You're not going that far. But it's not. Okay? It's 1 and then occupy the line. So I pak and occupy the line. Remember that. So don't do, it's really 1, 2. So a punch comes, I block, strike. I pak, strike. I pak and strike. I have to have my forearm in the center to deflect the attack, to cover the line of attack. I still see some of you doing the gam saos flat like this. Thumbs are pointing up. So your palms should be like this, not like that. Like this. The same thing for the block here. Not flat, like this. See? Not flat like that. Down, up. Now I'll do one hand. When I do that gum sao and the dan sao, I'm using my right arm here. My fingers go immediately to my right. Right? I don't do this and then do that wind up. The same thing with the fook sao. I don't go, see, I don't do that flare. I immediately go to the left in this instance, or to the right. So if I meet someone's limb, I turn it immediately. I don't touch the limb and then go up like that and go around. So don't do that flare like that. Straight up. So immediately I go to the right and left. I pull back. So don't do this Don't do this. It's 1, 2. And for the toy puck, the one that pushes forward, it's 1, 2. So remember, the arm should be rounded, fingers pointing down. Because what I'm doing is after I strike, I'm going underneath the person's armpit and I want to lift it up. I want to lift their center of gravity up. But if my hands are flat like this, I don't do it. See, there's more lift here. So this should be pointing down if you're going to do the fuck sao. So normally I do the side palm in regular silum tao, and I do this fuck sao in advance. But it doesn't really matter. I mean, as long as you understand them both. So if you're going to do the fuck sao, you go straight up, fingers pointing down to the ground to lift the person up so you can hit them. Okay? There was something else. The punch doesn't go 1, 2. Just place it there. Just go 1. Put it in front of your body so it's right here and drive the punch out. Circle around, pull back. Fists off the body, not resting on the body. And a high chamber. Okay, so I think that's about it. Oh, the gun sao. So right here will be my solar plexus. Let's do it from here. So when I do this, this is a gun. This is a gun. Once my wrist gets past this point, it's no longer a gun sao. It's a fuck sao. Just like the fuck sao here, a fuck sao can be anywhere. All it means is brushing or whisking. Brushing hand. Sweeping hand, I guess. So this is a gun. Now it's a fuck. So keep it below your solar plexus. Or right below the bottom of your sternum. We call that the san. So that's where your gun should be. So when you do the gun, it plows out and then you go forward to the tan. Some of you are doing the bong like this, on top. You're going on top. That leaves all this open. The bong is from underneath. It raises up. So from the tan, I lift up. I don't go on top because I don't cover all these points, these incremental points on my side. So if I start here and the person throws a punch here, I can catch it. If they throw it here, I can catch it. If they throw it here, I can catch it. If they throw it here, I can catch it. But if I go on top, I'm open. So if I go on top like this, I lift myself open. So bong sao lifts and rolls up. It lifts, it starts from the tan, you make contact with the limb, and then you roll up. It's from underneath the arm, not on top of the arm. It's not like a threading. Same thing with the low bong sao. It rolls and lifts. So this rolls and lifts. Okay? And a good example to show you this, when I do this pak, I stick to the arm. See? In the silum tao form, when you pak and strike, it's not pak, leave, and then strike. It's pak, stick. Notice how I'm keeping the arm in the upper left-hand corner of the mortise. Pak, stay up there. So don't do pak, come back and strike. Bong sao lifts up. So I'm incrementally covering all these points in space. I may catch the person's arm here, 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 here. So I lift up. If you go on top, you lift your rib cage open. One of the first things from level 4 is bu sao low side kick. So from a side neutral stance, I shift the side kick and then I can land. But normally you would step into a front stance. So from here, the punch comes, I move to the side kick, circle, and then punch. Now, of course, you're going to be doing this moving. You're going to be moving around, right? When the punch comes. Now, notice how I've turned away. So I'm literally kicking to my side. So when we say side kick, we take it literally. If I'm facing front and you're here, I would never turn to side kick you. I would only side kick you if you were here. Here I would do a front kick. A lot of martial artists, a lot of martial arts styles will stand here and then turn and side kick. We think that's a waste of time. If I'm facing here, I'm going to front kick you. Now, if you throw a technique at me and I move to the side and now you're here, then I side kick you. So we're going to do it stationary. But normally I would be moving around, whether I was in a front stance or not. I may step. If I'm in a front stance and you throw the punch, it's a parallel arm block. I buse out and then side kick and then step in front. But let me stay with the course for the basic training. So put the weight to the side, but you have to throw this hand because once you do this, the person can sense your intent. So I block the punch, bring the knee up, a side kick, circle, and then strike. Side kick, circle, and strike. I move to the side, side kick, circle, and strike. So you do that on both sides. Okay, so we have a advancing side kick. So from here, I step forward, so I turn myself to the side, so I'm able to do the side kick. So from here, I can just step forward, and then side kick, and then circle and punch. This isn't shown on the video, but I can step across and side kick. So that kick would be, and then side kick. So step across, side kick, circle, punch. And on the other side, I can step here, but if I have to step deeper, I would step deep, bring the knee up, side kick, circle. So what happens is I step, so I turn to the side so I can kick you. I bring my knee up, side kick, circle, then continue my attack. So that's one of the drills for level 4. So basically, shoe came off. Okay, this is good because of this floor. So I step, side kick, strike. Step, side kick, circle, and then strike. Most people do a round kick. They pivot from this point and round kick. But we step offline. So without the hands, I step offline to whip the kick. So I step offline and then kick and then circle. See? So I step offline. If I do the round kick from here and the person charges me, I'm still there. They can knock me off balance. So what I do is I step and whip. So if this is my opponent's line of attack, instead of me staying here, I'm still in the line of attack. You step. So maybe a punch comes, hypothetically. It could be anyway. I pock the punch. So I pock the punch and round kick. Then step around. So when you do the round kick, you step, which thrusts this hip forward. So you step off line. Pock. Or I can lop a punch. I can lop, double lop, and kick. That's one way. Usually, for the round kick, you want to be cross leg, so you can kick to the sciatic. The iliotibial band, the IT band. You want to kick here. So usually, you could double lop a punch, hold on, kick, and then land. So the punch comes, I double lop him, I have something to hold on to, then kick, and then land. When you do the round kick, you want your toe pointing down, not flat like that, down. The reason for that is you don't want to kick with the shin bone. So when I kick down. So I'm hitting with this side of my leg, not the shin bone. I think if you look at the kick that Silva did in that fight when he broke his leg, that's what he did. He kicked with the bone. This is a flat bone. It's easy to shatter. Just like if you got a sledgehammer and hit some plywood, it would shatter. So a flat bone would shatter. So you don't want to have your foot level. When I kick down. then step in. Okay, a block for a front kick. So Sifu was explaining this here in the Silam Tao form. So from the front stance, block, circle around, and check the arm and punch. So it's going to look like this. The kick is coming to my midsection. I block, circle around, and check the arm and punch. Now this is all hypothetical. We don't know what arm's going to come. He can kick and try to do a takedown. He can kick and straight punch, round punch. We want to keep it simple. So this is what the course shows. And I'll show you the variables later on. So I block out. I step off the line of attack. So I block down, lao sao to get to the outside of the arm, strike. Whatever technique you want to do from there. To keep simple, I just do pak da, pak da, pak da. So the kick comes, one, pak da, pak da, pak da. So from here, okay, or chain punch, it doesn't matter. Okay, on this side, oh, sorry, I should go low. Block the kick, circle around, check the arm, or I can block, check, and then chain punch, it doesn't matter. Block, check punch, or chain punch. You have to check the first punch though, the first arm. Block, check, and then I can do whatever I want to do from there. If I'm in a front stance, it's the same thing. Block, check. So from here, block the kick, circle around to get to the outside, punch. From here, block. Notice that when I do the Hyun Sao, Lao Sao, I do a Hyun Gurk at the same time. So from here, this helps me get to the blind side of my opponent in case he moves. So from here, I block, check, and I can keep checking, bu sao, whatever happens, I can just do chain punch to keep it simple. So we'll keep it simple. Block, pak. Okay. Unless you've done iron palm, I don't suggest doing that one hand. Combine two hands. So So what I'm doing is a gan sao. The gum sao keeps the kick from coming in. The gan keeps it from coming up. So since a leg is stronger than your arms, it's better to use two hands against a stronger limb. So I'm doing a gan, just like you do in Silam Tao, and my gan is in my center, right? Just like in the form, except I'm facing away, it's in my center. And the gum sao, the pinning hand and plowing hand together. So the kick comes, I block them. So I plow out. So at the same time, so the kick's coming to my center. I'm here. Or I can just punch. So he does a front kick and a crescent kick. I stop his leg from coming up to do the other kick. So I check it. So it's safer to do this. Now you can do this if you've got the timing and you've trained your palms, but I like to be safe. Even though I think I could pull it off, I would still end up doing two hands. So one, circle around and check the limb and then punch. So from this side, check and then punch. And the same if I was in a front stance. I just do that, circle around, punch. Here. Now from here, slowly, one, check, punch, check, punch. Or I have to lop if a round punch came. You have to deal with what comes. But if you're new, just do chain punches. Just do chain, circle around, punch, and just do chain punches. So again, here, punch, and then chain punch. Okay, that's one. So for the round kick, double lop style. Circle around and step in. So remember, when you're blocking a round kick, you have to be on the inside. Any round punch, you have to block from the inside because you're on the inside of the circumference. So from here, double lop, and you don't want your hands close together because the person can push you off balance. You don't want your hands locked out, your arms locked out. You could break the joints in your elbow. You want to have your arms rounded like this, so it's like a shock absorber. Because if the guy kicks really hard, you want to have some give. You don't want to try to go and lock it out. You're going to be messed up. Okay, so we'll do it from a side neutral. The round kick's coming here, right? Now I'm on the inside. Now if he throws a round punch, I would lop and hit. If he doesn't throw any punch, I can step in. So the other side. And then you could kick and step in. And one other thing too, you're not attacking the leg so much. What you want to do is pull it down. So you're dragging the leg down. So you're doing this to the kick. The kick comes in, I do that. So the stopper on this cane, I want to drag the stopper down. That would be his foot. So that when the person kicks, I pull him off balance. That's how you would stop someone who can do multiple kicks. Like some people can just flick their legs. They can do multiple kicks in their leg in the air. So if I do this, that stops him because I thrust his balance forward, which hinders him from throwing another kick. So let's do that one. Drag down, circle around, step in and punch. Drag down, maybe lop and punch, you know. What I really like though, see for a tournament, I would have to do this. But in the street fight, once I do this, your groin's open. I'm kicking you in the nuts. So, kick, step in and punch. So it's a double lop. You want your hands far apart, not too far apart. That way you have more leverage. You have more of the person's limb, so they can't push through. And if you want to test that, have someone stronger than you push you away when your hands are like this. And then open your hands up and watch how harder it is for them to push you. Now you don't want to be open, around shoulder width when you do that block, that double lock. So here, front kick, straight forward. Now this isn't a thrust kick. Remember I showed you that our Wing Chun front kick isn't this. It's not that. You don't kick like this. You bring it up, thrust it out like a pool cue. See, straight. This kick does go up though, because it's just a tap at the top of your foot to the groin. Shortest distance, the shortest target, closest target. So one kick, the other side, kick, circle, step in. You have to deal with what happens after that, but that is something you have to do in the moment. One, kick, step in and punch. Same thing from our front stance. I'm here, fist open. When I was kickboxing, I would have to use, we had boxing gloves, so I couldn't do a grabbing lop. I would use the bottom part of the glove to simulate a lop. So with my gloves, I would go like this and block the kick. but if you have open hands, it's better. So from here, right, front kick, circle, step in and punch, or deal with whatever happens. From a front stance, same thing. Kick, step in and punch. I don't think he's showing the kick in this video. So from this side, kick, step in and punch, or block, whatever happens there. Pak Chun, the other arm comes, I lao sao and lop. That's why we need a partner. So for a jab, we do Pak Chun. We put the longer arm in. Okay, so for a jab, Pak Chun. So that's for one punch. Because when he punches and pulls back, I touch his arm. When he pulls it back, this follows his arm back. But he throws the other punch. So now this is the other hand. So from here, I step in and strike. So I'm doing Pak Chun, circle around and strike. It's going to be hard to do this. Let's see. Pak Chun. So he did 1, 2. This one pulled back really fast, and then his left came out. So I get his right, Pak Chun, his left hand comes out. I lao sao, check, Chun, and lop that one. So I'm doing 2 Pak Chun. So Pak Chun and that. See? So now this is his left arm. So and do that a lot. So my goal is to do Pak Chun, but the other hand comes. So I chun that hand and lop. So this is a defense against straight and cross. 1, 2. So right, left. So this is the right hand, now it's the left hand. So maybe if I can, I don't see how I can do that. With the 2 arms. Maybe not. I have an idea. Since one arm is shorter. So that's the first arm. And then I take it to that arm. And then bring it across. So basically, this is 2 arms. First arm, I do chun. This other arm comes, I chun again and lop. So I'm doing Pak Chun, Chun, lop. You got it? Pak, chun, and chun the other arm, and then I can lop. So a jab is this. Fast, out fast. That's a jab. So the idea about that is I touch the arm as the person pulls back. I cover the line. So it doesn't matter if he does 2 jabs or jab cross. But let's deal with if he does 1 jab or 2 jabs. So if he does 1 jab and I'm lucky I catch the arm, but if I don't, he throws another punch, I've covered the line. Like I said about putting a roadblock in the line of attack. So I Pak Chun. So whether I catch his arm or not, I've covered the line. So his second jab would get, the first jab could be a fake, and that could be the committed one. So Pak Chun. I think I put a video up with JJ showing how you don't lose contact. So when the first punch comes, I would probably end up doing step off line to do that. I wouldn't just stay here and do that. I would move out of the way of the jab, chun sao, lop sao, Pak Chun. So to practice it, you need to do Pak Chun. You need to hear this sound. The skin scraping. Excuse me, I'm sorry about that. So Pak Chun, and then you can lop and strike. Pak Chun. So what Sifu was showing here was Pak Chun, the other hand comes, chun again, and then lop, pull the person offline. So Pak Chun. Now if it was his right arm, my chun would be here. But if the other arm came, I'd have to move over a little bit. And then chun, and then lop. I could also do Pak, Chun, and then Lop from there. So there's so many variables. But right now, let's just work on the Pak Chun. Pak Sao, Chun Sao, step in and punch. And it can be done from a front stance too. So the line of attack is here. I move off the line of attack, Chun. So the Pak I'm using is the Toy Pak in Silung Tao. The Pak that pushes forward, not the Pak that goes to the side. So from here, I do a Toy Pak, Chun Sao. If his arm is still there, if his right arm is still there, I lop and hit. If he threw his left arm, I still lop and hit. Whatever is there, I lop it. Lop and hit. I can lop and strike or lop and side palm. That was the chit sao I was telling you about, Robert. The chit sao. So a side palm, right? Hitting with this part of the palm. So Pak, Chun, lop, or punch. You can lop and punch or lop and chit. Okay? Pak, Chun, and do this using your waist. Or Pak, Chun, and punch. So from this side, I Pak, Chun, lop and side palm. And then you can do some work from there. Or I can Pak, Chun, lop and punch. It doesn't matter. So that would be the rhythm. So in slow motion, I Pak. I use my own arm, my hand to slide along my arm so I can feel any vibration or any intent in his limb. I don't want to Pak and have a space because now I lost contact. So for a fraction of a second, you have two arms in contact with the opponent's limb. You don't want to leave it there a long time because you can get trapped. So that's why you push and pull. Okay? So Pak, Chun, lop. I Pak, Chun, T-step, circle around. Really, it's an exchange step. So let me show you exchange step. If you see where these two lines intersect, and if I had a plumb line here, I end up back in the same spot. See? That's an exchange step. Okay, so what Sifu did was, Sifu say a punch at him, he Pak, Chun, the other hand came, he did a Lao Sao to check and punch. He did a Lao from the Bu and an exchange step combined. So I'm going to do it slowly. Pak, Chun, the person throws a right punch, a right straight punch. I Pak, Chun, then his left hand comes. So I turn that Chun into a Bu, circle around to get to the blind side, and then punch. Okay? I'm going to try to keep it simple. There's some other things you can do. So Pak, Chun, Bu. Oh, wait a minute, I did that wrong. It should be a Lao. What I did was right, but he did a Lao. So Pak, Chun, Lao Sao, check, and then punch. So nice and slow. Pak, Chun, Bu, Lao Sao, check, and punch. Pak, Chun, Lao Sao, punch. So that threading arm turns into a Bu Sao. So the threading arm turns into a Bu. Got it? I Pak, Chun, Bu. So the techniques kind of meld together. So I Pak, Chun, circle around, and check. Actually like this one. Pak, Chun, circle around, and check. Now I can do Pak, Chun, Chun, and lop with that hand, but that's not what he did. And I got to stay with the course, okay? So Pak, Chun, Bu, Lao Sao, and check. So this is for the person doing 1, 2. He's throwing a cross. Jab, cross. The reason they call this a cross is because it crosses the center. Jab, cross. This isn't jab round. It's two straight punches, except one is crossing the center line. 1, 2. I'm boxing. 1, that's the cross. So he's doing a jab, cross, circle around, and check. I'll show you from the back. Jab, cross, circle around, and check. He jabs. I pak, chun, bu, circle around, check the limb, and punch. So let's do the other side. Pak, chun, bu, circle around, and punch. So from here, I do pak, chun, circle around, and punch. So basically, you're doing an exchange step. I can also do bu, bu for 2 punches. Bu sao, and step around. So I bu. Now when I did the bu, I went on top. If I go underneath, it's a chun. So chun sao can turn into a bu. Okay? So here I'm doing bu for 2 punches. So I'm doing it from a side neutral, bu, exchange step, or from a front stance, bu, and circle around. So I do a bu sao with the exchange step, and circle around.